Have you ever made a choice you were totally sure about, only to realize 5 minutes later you might have messed up big time? Well, think about it for a second. That is exactly where Will Spencer is sitting right now on the bold and the beautiful, and honestly it is kind of a mess. He fought so hard to get Electra Forrester back, didn't he? He was like a man on a mission, trying to prove he was the better guy, eventually getting her to move into the beach house with him. But now that the dust has settled, is he actually happy? Or is he just staring out the window, wondering where Dylan is? The funny thing about the Spencers is that they always want what they can't have. And right now, what Will can't have is Melissa Dillon, because she is busy moving on with his biggest rival. I mean, let's look at the situation for RJ and Dylan. They're basically the rejects of Los Angeles right now, aren't they? They were both left out in the cold while Will and Electra went off to play house. So what do? They end up at the Bikini Beach Club, nursing their broken hearts. It is actually kind of sweet in a sad way. They're sitting there, toasting their glasses of orange juice to being single and lonely together. They even called it their own Lonely Hearts Club. But don't let the juice fool you. This isn't just two friends hanging out. This is the start of something that is going to blow Will Spencer's world apart. You have to wonder, did RJ and Dylan ever expect to find common ground? They've crossed paths at Forrester before, sure, but they were always too busy chasing other people to even notice each other. But now, all that is changing. What do you think is going on in RJ's head during those breakfast meetings? We know he still thinks he's better for Electra than a dirty Spencer boy like Will. He's devastated that she chose Will over him. And RJ isn't the type to just take a loss and walk away. He's patient, he's strategic, and he's been watching everything. He heard Dylan admit that her heart still belongs to Will, even though she wants him to be happy. RJ didn't look away when she said that. He filed that information away like a weapon. It makes you think, is he really falling for Dylan? Or is he just using her as a secret weapon to get under Electra's skin? It is a pretty dark move if you think about it. He's taking a girl who is already vulnerable and turning her into a tool for revenge. Do you think RJ is capable of being that cold? And then we have the big moment at the bikini bar. Spoilers are saying things are about to get really spicy. We're talking a dance floor, some serious moves, and a kiss that everyone is going to see. Imagine Will's face when he walks in and sees his ex-roomie, the girl who literally saved him when he was homeless and living out of his car, making out with RJ Forrester. It is going to throw him for a total loop. He's supposed to be the one Dylan obsesses over. Since she arrived, he's been the center of her world. Seeing her move on, especially with the guy he already sucker-punched once, is going to hit his ego hard. Why do men only seem to realize the value of a woman once she's standing next to someone else? It is like a classic psychological trap, and Will is falling right into it. The emotional layer here is just so heavy. Think about Dylan for a second. She's been so noble, hasn't she? She stepped aside, she moved out of the beach house, and she told Electra she wanted them to be happy. But you can't just switch off feelings like a light. She's hurting. And here comes RJ, the charming Forrester prince, sweeping her off her feet. For the first time in a long time, someone is putting her first. Even if it's an act on RJ's part, Dylan is reaping the benefits. She's getting a promotion at work, she's the talk of the office, and she's finally stepping out of Electra's shadow. But is she just setting herself up for more heartbreak? If RJ is just using her to make Electra jealous, Dylan is going to be the one who ends up as collateral damage. She could lose her friendship with Electra, her connection to Will, and her dignity all at once. Is a summer romance worth that kind of risk? And what about Electra? She's been raging for weeks about Dylan living at the beach house. She was so sure Dylan was the problem, throwing herself at Will. But now that Dylan is gone and dating RJ, Electra is starting to see the sad truth. She's watching her boyfriend freak out over another girl's dating life. That has to sting. She's reading between the lines and realizing that maybe Will had deeper feelings for his roommate than he ever admitted. It is a total role reversal. Now Electra is the one who has to play the supportive girlfriend, while her man is obsessed with his ex-best friend. Can you imagine the tension at that beach house? It was supposed to be their romantic getaway, but now it probably feels like a prison. Will Electra try to sabotage Dylan's new romance just to get Will's attention back? It wouldn't be the first time a Forrester let jealousy take the wheel. The office drama is just as juicy. Everyone at Forrester Creations is gushing over the adorable new couple. RJ and Dylan are the hot new thing this summer. And you know how it goes in that building. If you're not the center of attention, you're basically invisible. Elektra is becoming old news. That has to be a nightmare for someone with her ego. Meanwhile, Dylan is moving up the ranks. She's no longer just the art teacher. She's becoming a powerhouse. Will is working over at the Logan team with Bill and Katie, but his mind is clearly across town at Forrester. He can't let it go. He fought so hard to win the war, but now he realizes he might have won the wrong prize. Is Will going to run back to Dylan? That is the million-dollar question. Some people think he might even try to hit the sheets with her just to feel that connection again. He's looking for validation. He wants to know he hasn't lost his power over her. But Dylan has changed. She's found her own strength. If Will comes crawling back, will she even want him? Or will she realize that RJ, even with all his flaws, is giving her a life she never thought she could have? It is like a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and the music is about to stop. Who is going to be left standing alone? Psychologically, Will is dealing with serious buyer's remorse. He wanted the status of being with a Forrester, but he misses the comfort of the girl who knew him when he was nothing. It is a classic ego trip. He wants to be the hero in every story. He wanted to be Elektra's knight in shining armor, and he wanted to be the one Dylan pined for. Now that he's only one of those things, he's spiraling. And RJ knows it. RJ is playing a longer game than anyone realizes. He's strategic, he's patient, and he's using Dylan as the ultimate bait. If he can break Will and Elektra apart without lifting a finger, he wins. But at what cost? Does he even care about Dylan's feelings? Or is she just a pawn in his quest to get Elektra back? It makes you wonder about the nature of love in this town. Is anything ever genuine? Or is it all just a reaction to what someone else is doing? Will and Elektra's reunion feels so forced now, doesn't it? It was built on a fight, not on a foundation of trust. And now, seeing RJ and Dylan actually getting along and being down to earth together, it makes the Will-Elektra romance look shallow. Even if RJ and Dylan started as a way to cheer each other up, they might actually find something real. They both know what it's like to be the second choice. They both know what it's like to have their hearts trampled on. That kind of shared pain can create a bond that is much stronger than a high school crush. But let's talk about the danger here. If RJ's plan works and Elektra finds out he manipulated the whole thing, he's going to lose her forever. She's already been defending him to her family, but if she realizes he's been running a quiet operation against her relationship, that trust is gone. And Will? He's already on thin moves. He's a Spencer, and Spencers don't like to lose. If he finds out RJ used Dylan to mess with his head, we might see more than just one sucker punch. We could be looking at an all-out family war. Bill and Katie are so happy right now, looking forward to the future and the success of the Logan line. They have no idea their son is about to set his whole life on fire. What do you think is going to happen next? Is RJ genuinely starting to like Dylan? Or is he just a master manipulator? And what about Will? Do you think he's actually in love with Dylan? Or is he just mad that someone else claimed her? It is such a fascinating look at human nature and how we value things more when they're out of reach. Dylan was always there, always available, and Will took that for granted. Now that she's the hot girl on RJ's arm, he's losing his mind. It is kind of pathetic but also so relatable, right? We've all been there, wondering if we made the right call. The summer is just getting started, and the bikini bar is definitely going to be the place where all these secrets come out. Between the spicy dances, the public kisses, and the office promotions, the power balance is shifting. Dylan is the one with the real power now, whether she knows it or not. She's the one both men are obsessing over. How she chooses to use that power will define everything. Will she stay loyal to her new romance with RJ? Or will she let Will back into her heart? I really hope she stays strong. She deserves to be someone's first choice for once. Think about the sad truth Elektra is facing. She thought she won the prize. She thought she beat Dylan. But she's realizing that the prize she won doesn't even want to be in the same room as her, spiritually at least. Will's heart is clearly elsewhere. Fear Elektra, how do you even handle that? Do you fight for a man who is staring at your rival? Or do you walk away with your dignity? Elektra has always thought very highly of herself, so this is going to be a massive blow to her self-esteem. She accused Dylan of throwing herself at Will, but the reality is that Will is the one leaning toward Dylan. That is a tough pill to swallow. The funny thing is, while all this chaos is happening with the younger crowd, Bill and Katie are blissfully happy. They're excited about Will joining the Logan team and the success of their new fashion line. They think everything is perfect. It is the calm before the storm, isn't it? When the truth about Will's obsession and RJ's manipulation comes out, it is going to affect the whole family. The Forrester and Spencer rivalry is about to get a whole new chapter, and it might be the messiest one yet. So what's your take on all this? Are you Team Argylen? Or are you still holding out hope for Will and Dylan to find their way back to each other? And do you think Elektra is going to go full villain mode this summer to protect what's hers? I have a feeling things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. Make sure you're following along because this Lonely Hearts Club is about to become a very crowded battlefield. It is going to be a summer of bikinis, booze, and some seriously bad decisions. And honestly, I am here for every single second of it. But let's go even deeper into the why behind RJ's actions. RJ is a Forrester, and he's been taught that he's the best. When Elektra chose a Spencer over him, it didn't just break his heart, it insulted his heritage. He sees Will as a dirty Spencer boy, who isn't worthy of a Forrester princess. By dating Dylan, he's not just moving on, he's performing a strategic strike. He knows that seeing Dylan with a Forrester will drive Will crazy. He's playing on Will's insecurities. It's almost like he's conducting a social experiment. How much pressure can Will take before he snaps? RJ is being patient, he's being kind to Dylan, and he's waiting for that one moment where Will crosses the line. And knowing Will, it won't take long. And poor Dylan. She's the one I feel for the most in all this. She's not a villain. She genuinely wants everyone to be happy. But she's being used as a pawn in a game she doesn't even fully understand. She thinks RJ is being a think about the history of Will and RJ. Remember that sucker punch at the bikini bar? That wasn't just about Elektra. That was about years of rivalry between their families. Will has always felt like he had to fight for what he had while RJ grew up with a silver spoon. Seeing RJ sweep Dylan off her feet is like seeing him take the one thing Will had left, the moral high ground and the devotion of a good woman. Will feels like he's being replaced, and for a Spencer that is the ultimate insult. He's going to react impulsively because that's what Spencers do. And RJ is just going to sit back and watch him burn his own life down. I also wonder about the Logan family's role in this. Bill and Katie are so proud of Will. They think he's finally maturing and taking his place in the family business. If they find out he's obsessing over his ex-roommate and neglecting his responsibilities, they're going to be devastated. Katie has worked so hard to keep her family together. Down-to-earth guy who just wants to cheer her up. She's surprised by how well they get along. But she's also human. She's enjoying the attention. She's enjoying the fact that she's no longer the homeless roommate, living on someone's couch. She's moving up in the world. But if she realizes that RJ is just using her to get to Elektra, it's going to crush her. She's already been through so much. She deserves something real. Do you think there's any chance RJ actually starts to care for her? Sometimes the fake romances turn into the realest ones, right? Interpretation-wise, this whole story is about identity. Will is trying to figure out who he is without the Spencer ego, but he's failing. RJ is trying to prove he's a true Forrester by being strategic and winning at all costs. Dylan is trying to find a life for herself that isn't defined by her obsession with a man. And Elektra? She's trying to hold on to a status that is slipping through her fingers. They're all just trying to feel important. And in the world of soaps, the easiest way to feel important is to make someone else jealous. It's a toxic cycle, but it makes for great TV. Think about the history of Will and RJ. Remember that sucker punch at the bikini bar? That wasn't just about Elektra. That was about years of rivalry between their families. Will has always felt like he had to fight for what he had while RJ grew up with a silver spoon. Seeing RJ sweep Dylan off her feet is like seeing him take the one thing Will had left, the moral high ground and the devotion of a good woman. Will feels like he's being replaced, and for a Spencer that is the ultimate insult. He's going to react impulsively because that's what Spencers do. And RJ is just going to sit back and watch him burn his own life down. I also wonder about the Logan family's role in this. Bill and Katie are so proud of Will. They think he's finally maturing and taking his place in the family business. If they find out he's obsessing over his ex-roommate and neglecting his responsibilities, they're going to be devastated. Katie has worked so hard to keep her family together, and Bill has finally found some peace. This drama with the kids could blow back on them in a big way. Especially if Brooke starts getting involved, and you know she will. She always has an opinion on who the Forrester kids should be dating. The Lonely Hearts Club toast is such a pivotal moment. It's the moment they both stopped being victims and decided to be players. But in a game of hearts there are no winners. If RJ succeeds in breaking up Will and Elektra, he might get the girl back, but he'll have lost his soul in the process. And if Will runs back to Dylan, he'll only be doing it because he lost, not because he truly loves her. It's all so messy and complicated. But that's why we love the bold and the beautiful, isn't it? We want to see the mess. We want to see the regret. We want to see the moment someone finally realizes they had the best thing in the world and they let it go. What's your opinion on Dylan's seductive ballerina moves? That was a fun little detail in the spoilers, wasn't it? It sounds like she's really going to lean into her beauty and her talent this summer. She's no longer the quiet girl in the background. She's taking center stage. And honestly, good for her. She's been through enough. If she can use her moves to get a promotion and a hot guy, then she should go for it. But she needs to be careful. In this town, the higher you rise, the harder you fall. Especially when you're standing on a foundation of jealousy and manipulation. Is Elektra actually capable of sabotaging Dylan? Think about her Forrester blood. They can be pretty ruthless when they want to be. If she feels her position at the company or in Will's heart is threatened, she might do something desperate. She's already been faking excitement for the cute new couple. But you can see the cracks in the facade. She's not happy. She's insecure. And an insecure Forrester is a dangerous thing. She might try to get Dylan fired or stir up some old drama from her past. Remember when Dylan was homeless? Elektra might use that against her to make her look unstable. It is going to be a very nasty summer at Forrester Creations. The psychological layer of territorial ego is so interesting here. Will doesn't even have to want Dylan to be mad that someone else has her. It's like a child with a toy. He hasn't played with it in months, but the second another kid picks it up, he wants it back. It is such a basic human instinct, but it causes so much damage. Will needs to grow up and realize that Dylan is a person, not a possession. But will he? Or will he just keep spiraling until he loses everyone? Predictions for the end of summer? I think we're going to see a double breakup. Will and Elektra are going to explode because of Will's obsession. And RJ and Dylan are going to fall apart when Dylan realizes RJ was just using her. It is going to be a lonely hearts autumn for everyone. But maybe, just maybe, Dylan will walk away with the best prize of all, her independence and a killer career at Forrester. She's the only one who has actually grown as a person through all this. The rest of them are just running in circles, chasing ghosts of old relationships. What do you think about the secret relative rumor that died down? There was speculation that Dylan and RJ might be related, but that was debunked when Remy Price was revealed as her relative. That's a relief, right? Because a romance between them would have been way too weird otherwise. But it also means there are no barriers to them becoming a real couple. If they can get past the initial manipulation, they might actually have a shot. They both seem to value down-to-earth connections. If RJ can stop being a strategist for 5 minutes and just be a guy, they might find something genuine. But can a Forrester ever really stop being a Forrester? The sad truth that Elektra realizes is the most emotional part of this whole thing for me. Imagine being in her shoes. You've fought for your man, you've moved in together, you think you've won. And then you realize you're second in his heart to a girl who was just a roommate. That is a soul-crushing realization. Changes everything. It makes every kiss and every I love you feel like a lie. Elektra is going to be changed by this summer. And I don't think it's going to be for the better. She's going to become more guarded, more suspicious, and probably a lot more like her Aunt Steffi.